Welcome back, Boner World. We're here. We're doing something new. I've been inspired by Blight Reacts. So, we are going to be doing top 100 NBA players of all time. Yeah, this is just my own personal opinion. Little background knowledge of me. Played basketball when I was in elementary school. Played on the middle school team. Got cut the freshman team. Played rec basketball throughout high school. And now I'm here at Michigan State University playing recreational basketball occasionally on the weekends. So I thought, who more qualified than me to put together this top 100 team of all time? So let's get started. I'm going to talk about kind of like the rules I got and the my thought process. So, top spot is highly considered if you have two or more of these. First off, a top spot is like higher than 50, probably. I don't actually have it down to a science. But just thinking of who I have, it's like 50 plus, maybe like 45, 40 plus is considered a top spot. So, for people to be in there, they kind of need to have, at least an MVP, DPOY, Defensive Player of the Year, a Finals MVP. They need to be a scoring leader of that season, an assist leader of that season, and they need to make a defensive team, All NBA first team. For the All-Stars, I decided to do 3 or more because you got those people who are like good for a couple of years and then they kind of fall off. So and I also wanted to have people who have kind of had like longevity in the top spots, who have been playing for a while. Some people have not been playing for that long that are in there just because they're so good so soon. I also tried to get people in the very top spots to have like a significant record, like most points in a game, or LeBron most all-time points scored. And then last but not least is the championships. There have been people who've been one and done in the championship, but I mean, do they really deserve to be in a top spot? Maybe if they were one and done and they were an MVP that season and they had finals MVP, maybe they will. So I tried to make it +2 championships. Now, some things to keep in mind about my rankings. Different accolades hold different values, so just because you have 2 items from this list does not guarantee you a top 30 spot. If you're a scoring leader one season and you have 3 All-Stars, obviously you're not going to be in the top spot. So just kind of put that there so people couldn't make the argument that, Kevin McHale should be in the top 20 because he has like all of these or something, Another thing to keep in mind, this is how I did if I couldn't decide where they went. If you cannot decide between 2 players, the player who I think would win when we won against each other will rank higher. So for example, Shaq versus Kareem. If you couldn't make up your mind based on championships, MVP, scoring titles, blah, 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 all that shit, then you gotta go, who's gonna win 1v1? That's what I did, at least. Playoff record is taken into consideration in the list, so yeah. This is only NBA, so no college, no Olympic, no FIBA. None of that shit is gonna be counting. Alright, next thing to keep in mind for the rankings, if you got carried to a ring, it does not count. So all those bums on Bill Russell's team when he won 11 straight, none of you guys are going on my list because you all suck. The bottom 25, 100 to 75, will be in a loose order, so you could realistically rank them anywhere in that range. And the final thing to keep in mind, the Hall of Fame has over 170 players, so just because you're in it doesn't mean you're going to get a spot. And before we begin this list, if you have any complaints, please hit up my manager. His name is Jameson Roach. His Instagram is JAMYSONROCHE. Nothing. And that is the same. I'm waiting.
What?
Nothing. It's all right.
What is happening?
And that is the same for his Snapchat as well. All right. Without further ado. All right. So for the list, obviously, since there is 100 players on it, I'm not really gonna go into depth about half of them. Only probably only the ones I feel like, and the top 30. So for these ones, I'm just gonna list them, and if I have anything to say, I'll say it, I guess. I don't know. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Johnson! Next up, Robert Horry. I think that's how you say his name. I've heard a song with his name in it, but other than that, if I had one shot with the fate of the world on the line, I'm taking Iguodala. And next up, the Eiffel Tower, some may call him Rudy Gobert. Next up, we have the greatest dad in the world, father to Nick Kerr. Please welcome Steve Kerr. We got our boy. Balling in the paint, change my name to John Wall. Little baby reference. Next up, the GOAT. Next up, we got an old one. We got JoJo White. JoJo White, I'm pretty sure, had 2 MVPs. Next up, we got Ben Wallace. Wait, Milk Chocolate Jesus, some may call him. He fucking sucks. He hasn't proven shit. So, that's why he's at 91. Next up, JB. Now we're getting juicy. We got Chris Bosh, Rick Barry, Mark Gasol, which is the Grizzlies variant, Bill Walton, that boy a bomb to me, Bernard King, Alex English, and my GOAT, Jerry West. Next up, we got Alonzo Mourning, Archibald, his favorite player, Chris Mullin, and Mitch Richmond. My bad. Richmond. The unstoppable, the immovable mountain. 77, we got Morant. Next up, George Gervin. Who? Who? Dave Cowens. David Thompson. Jerry Lucas. Joe Dumars, Pistons legend. And we got Dennis Rodman. Next, we got George Mikan. Everybody's done his drills. Sitting at 69, we got BG. BG 13. What can you say about this guy? This guy sucks. Sean Kemp. This is one of my dad's favorite players. Fun fact. And then we got Chris Paul. We got Penny. We got Damon. 2 good shooters. Damian Lillard's kind of ass, though. Gilbert Arenas. Another Detroit legend. D. Rose. Next up, we got Hayes. Wes Unseld. I saw a lot of lists with Unseld higher, and I just can't do it. Like Splash Brothers. We got this one right here. And ahead of him, we have Bob McAdoo. This is how you spell it. There's no, it's like McAdoo, but it's McAdoo. Next up, James Worthy. He's worthy of that position in his list, we'll say that. Gary Payton, the glove. This guy, this guy's It's okay. Probably could bump him up higher, but right after Miller, we got Barkley. Okay. Chuck. Vince Carter. Raptors legend. The dunk goat, some could call him. Ahead of him, though, we do have the Brow. After him, we got Tony Parker, Spurs legend. He won 3, I think. And now we're here starting the top 50 players. And who better than Pistol Pete? Carmelo. Bob Pettit. And Drexler. Drexler's pretty good. Jason Kidd. Kevin McHale. Ginobili. Everyone loves some Ginobili. Wes Brick. Paul Pierce. He's a mid player. He's whatever. Rim Rattle McGrady. Here we go. James Harden. Kyrie Irving. And then Walt Frazier. I have 2 Bob Cousy's. Okay. Fuck. Well. Alright, Yao Ming is now 42. Ahead of Bob Cousy, we got Embiid. I don't like Embiid. He's a flop merchant. Patrick Ewing. And Dominique Wilkins. After Dominique, coming in at 32, we got Steve Nash, who robbed Shaq of an MVP. Kawhi Leonard. And to cap it out, at number 30, we got Luka. Next up, Isaiah Thomas. Okay, this boy's part of the Bad Boys. A repeat championship. Michael Jordan couldn't do shit against him. After Isaiah, though, we're coming in with another small guard, Allen Iverson. This boy's good and all, but I mean, he just never got what he deserved. He never got that ring. Next up, Scottie Pippen. John Stockton. The Utah Jazz needed him. John Havlicek. Elgin. Baylor. I hate the Bears, but this guy was pretty good. Right ahead of him, we have Nikola Jokic. Okay. Dwayne Wade. He's got a statue coming up. That boy I gotta be in 22nd. David Robinson. David Robinson arguably should have won MVP over Hakeem, but in the end he didn't. We won't be saying this guy's name due to the account of him touching little children. Garnett, the big bad wolf of the Timberwolves. Dirk, some consider him the GOAT European. Julius Erving. This might shock some people, but just because you have the most championships doesn't mean you're the best player in history. That's why this boy's sitting at number 16. Next up, Giannis. Giannis is better than him. Giannis is better than Bill Russell. Giannis. KD, Kevin Durant, one of the best scorers in history, has 4 scoring titles, actually, I think. Except we have Mr. Triple-Double himself. Averaged a triple-double in 1 year. Forget which year. Oscar Robertson. Okay, this guy's pretty good. And to finish it off, before we get to the top 10, we have Stilt the Wilt Chamberlain. 100 points? I don't think so. Here comes number 10. We have Larry Bird at number 10. Okay. Best shooters of all time. Next up, we have Hakeem Olajuwon. Hakeem Olajuwon. This dude won MVP, DPOY, the finals MVP all in the same year. Then he repeated. Next up, Cookem, Chef Curry. Number 7 is Tim Duncan. Next up, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, sitting comfortably at number 6. Number 5. Magic AIDS Johnson. This boy didn't get AIDS. This boy running the league. This boy's walking all over Michael. More than he already did. Next. Okay. Can this thing get the fuck out of the way? God damn it. Well. Close enough. Oh, come on. There you go. Sitting comfortably at number 4 is Shaquille O'Neal. The most dominant center in NBA history. You put this guy against anybody, he's dunking on you and making you fall to the floor and cry like a little girl. Next. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And obviously, he used to be the all-time scoring leader. I think he has the most MVPs out of anyone. I think he has 5. Obviously, he won with Magic. He won with the Bucks. He's got a lot going for him. And he has a really long career. Coming in at the number 2 spot. LeBron! You can't beat the GOAT. You can't. It's going to wrap up the top 100 NBA players. Remember, if you have any complaints, you know who to call.